go. Good morning. Welcome to today's service. Please Gasho for opening meditation. May the wisdom of the all-compassionate one so shrine within our hearts and minds that the mists of our errors and the foolish vanity of self may be dispelled. So shall we understand the changing nature of existence and reach spiritual peace. Namo Midotsu. Namo Midotsu. Namo Midotsu. Namo Midotsu. As you'll notice, we have several guests with us here today. Reverend Koyama from the Tacoma Buddhist Temple, Reverend Cindy, as well as Rinban Kusunoki from the Seattle Petsui. So they will take part in today's service as well. We're going to start with our sutra for today, which will be Jusei on page 23 in your service book. I'd like to welcome to the podium Cindy to lead us in the three treasures on page 3.
I'm too short. Hi everyone at White River. My name is Reverend Cindy Yasaki. I am a minister's assistant at Tacoma Buddhist Temple under Reverend Terao Koyama. So if we could all please recite the three treasures. Three treasures. Fortunate is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Where is it to encounter the teachings of the Buddha? Now we hear it. If we do not seek the truth of the Dharma in this life, in what life shall we find it? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken within us our highest aspiration. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depths of the Dharma and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in the life of harmony, in a spirit of universal brotherhood, free from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriad of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful teaching. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Namo.
Thank you, Reverend Cindy. And today we have a special, very special musical number prepared for you. I'd like to welcome to the podium Judy to introduce it. Judy?
Well, we have ukulele players today, and it's been a while since we've all been together. If you look at your piece of paper, you've received on your chair a paper that gives you words to the song of Hello Dolly. And we would like to sing Hello Sangha and welcome you all back. If you know me in at least a little bit, you know that for the past 2 years, unlike everybody else, it's been a dark time. I got fortunate enough to be hooked up with the jammers from OCBC. And I wanted you to know that they are the ones that put these words together. And they graciously have allowed me to play with them, and they gave me permission to use their words today. So, thank you. Thank you to them. And here we go.
Yes, please rise.
Georgette, you have any more of the paper? It's okay, you got it. Thank you.
I wish you were sitting down. Wait a minute. Very important. He's going to join.
So nice to see you.
message from Reverend Ward.
Come on now. I think a short person's been using my microphone. Sorry, Cindy, I couldn't resist. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to our service, and thank you for joining us today. Before we get started, I would like to thank the Shirakawa Singers for welcoming everyone back. It's great to see you all here. Such a nice crowd. So please join me in Gassho for a reading from Shinran's collected works. Bodhisattva Maitreya must pass 5,670,000,000 years before attaining Buddhahood. But the person who realizes true Shinji will attain enlightenment with the end of this life. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Very early in the morning, about 35 or 40 years ago, plus, my older brother and I were just coming down from our deer stands. If you don't know what a deer stand is, you have this ladder that leans up against the tree trunk about 30 feet in the air with a seat on it about as big as the service book. At least it feels about that big. And you sit there and you wait for the deer to come by before you take a shot. So we were just coming down, and we were in the woods. We were hunting white-tailed deer. This was down in Louisiana during the bow season. You hunt with a bow and arrow prior to the rifle season. The beginning of the hunting season, when you're not allowed to carry a rifle in the woods, we usually just carry a pistol because there's a lot of snakes out at that time. They hadn't already slithered off to hibernate for the winter. In our quivers, we carried two types of arrows. One was a field point. It has a relatively sharp point, and it's used for target practice, either or small game. The other type has extremely sharp points on it with razor blade edges. It's used to hunt big game like deer, bear, and elk. As we walked along, I took out a razor head and knocked it in my bow, just in case we might happen to see a deer. And my brother, who was constantly practicing, he was never as good a shot as I was. Humbly, I said that. He was always practicing, so he put a field point on his bow. So after crossing a small stream in the woods, my brother spied a raccoon up in the overhead canopy of the cypress trees. And since raccoons are considered vermin in North Louisiana, it's open season on raccoons all year long. Now, raccoon, I used to think raccoon and tanuki was the same thing, but the tanuki in Japan it's a relative of raccoon, of our American raccoon. It's pretty good eating. Although the raccoon was pretty high up, a little bit higher than this ceiling, maybe higher than the roof, my brother decided to take a shot. The arrow found its mark, and the animal fell to the ground and began running away with the arrow still lodged in his lower body. As it started to climb the trees again, I took my shot. My arrow with the razor tip pinned his body to the tree. He was immobilized by the arrow. We quickly ran to the animal to dispatch him and relieve his suffering. That's what my father taught me to do. Never allow an animal that you're taking to suffer. And at that moment, a life-changing event happened to me. Even to this day, it's a little difficult to talk about. As we got closer, the raccoon looked directly into my eyes, as if to say, "Jim, why are you doing this? Why are you taking life? But his gaze went straight to my heart. Straight into my heart. I couldn't move. My brother stopped the raccoon's suffering, and we later gave his body to a neighbor who enjoyed cooking and eating raccoon frequently. So the animal didn't go to waste. But that raccoon set my feet on the path to Buddhism, I believe. I was moved so much that I gave up hunting, and I haven't hunted since. And that's when I started my search for trying to understand the Buddha Dharma. It began with looking through literature. Shortly after that, I found myself in a small rural library there where I lived in northern Louisiana, looking for books on Buddhism, but I couldn't find anything. Very few books about Buddhism in the South at that time. My search took me to a neighboring county in Shreveport, Louisiana, bigger town, and they had just installed a computerized system. And being kind of ignorant as to how this newfangled contraption worked, I looked around and found a sign that says, type in your keyword to search our catalog. And I figured my keyword was Buddhism. So I typed in B-U-D-D-I-S-M, Buddhism. And the screen, you know, those little green screens, how they blink, 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 and not found. I tried it 2 or 3 times, and I guess see my frustration, a young lady came over and asked if she could help. And I told her I was looking for books on Buddhism. She said, oh, I would be happy to help you find. Let me get in front of the monitor and we'll do a search. So she typed in her keyword, B-U-D-D-I-S-M. Not found. Once we figured out how to spell Buddhism correctly, a lot of titles popped up. Most of them were not in the library, though. They weren't accessible there. But the library had a policy whereby they were able to borrow books from other libraries. I think that's still going on today. The books that we borrowed were mainly from the West Coast because Buddhism was not very well known in the Bible Belt at that time. And during those early days of my search and studies, I was trying to figure out why that raccoon had touched me so deeply. And I came across a term, many of you have heard this before, bodhisattva. And so I was trying to get a clear understanding of the term, so I went to the dictionary, first off. Webster defines bodhisattva as a being that compassionately refrains from entering nirvana in order to save others and is worshipped as a deity in Mahayana Buddhism. I didn't like that definition too much, so I kept searching. I found another longer, more precise definition from Britannica, which states in Buddhism, one who seeks awakened body, hence an individual on the path to becoming a Buddha. And that sounded better because the first definition sounded like somehow the bodhisattva was a little higher on the scale since he had postponed his enlightenment to come back and save others, and the greedy guy went on and become a Buddha, the other guy did. So this next definition, I think, sounded better. I think really a bodhisattva is on the path to Buddhahood. They don't necessarily pause, but that's part of their practice, I think, coming back. So according to these Mahayana teachings, throughout history and the universe which had no beginning and no end, many, many people have considered, rather committed themselves to becoming Buddhists over eons and eons. And as a result, I feel that the universe is just filled with a broad range of potential Buddhas. From those just setting out on the path, to those who have practiced and trained for a lifetime, to those who have acquired supernatural powers, These celestial bodhisattvas are functionally equivalent to Buddhas in their wisdom and their compassion. Their compassion motivates them to assist ordinary beings. You've heard of Kanmon. Their wisdom informs them how best to do so. And their accumulated powers enable them to act in very miraculous ways, time and spaces, moving through time and space in the whatever form. And I found Avalokiteshvara Kanmon. They're seen in Buddhist traditions and in other traditions as savior figures, constantly working for the good of all beings. This is the heart of being a bodhisattva. Even in the Lotus Sutra, there's a chapter on Avalokiteshvara, and it says that if you bring Kanmon to mind, it can help save you from natural disasters, demons, and other calamities. It's also supposed to protect you, I think, from afflictions like anger and ignorance, greed, and that sort of thing. While I was reading, I found that the definition also states that bodhisattvas can transform themselves into whatever physical form is useful to help sentient beings. They can become a god, a bird, a male or female, or even a Buddha, and maybe even a raccoon. Wow, that was a huge discovery for me to find that out. So I believe that raccoon must have been a bodhisattva. And even possibly that lady who finally helped me figure out how to spell Buddhism might be a bodhisattva as well. So I wonder, is a being a bodhisattva whether I perceive that being as one or not? Maybe so, because his purpose in doing what he is doing is to lead me to enlightenment. By the same token, any being that leads me further along the path could be viewed as a bodhisattva to me. As I said, we're told that bodhisattvas manifest rather in many, many forms. They might be bums or babies or friends or strangers or teachers or firemen or used car salesmen or raccoons or puppy dogs or anything. They might even be you. Wherever and whenever they're needed to help, it's given without selfish attachment. If we do that, then we are in the hands of the bodhisattva. The bodhisattva is coming through us. When we hear and see the suffering of others and respond to that suffering, and as I said, we are then in the hands of the bodhisattva. Based on this notion then, there have been many, many bodhisattvas in my life. Dozens and dozens among the ministers and Sangha members here in the Pacific Northwest. These folks have profoundly affected and still affect my life and my understanding of Buddhism and Yoga Shinshu. And for that I'm eternally grateful. But the Bodhisattva path is usually a long path that takes many, many lifetimes, across many, many kalpas or eons. Some of the sutras state that a beginner Bodhisattva could take anywhere from 3 to 22 countless eons to become a Buddha. But when sentient beings think on Amida Buddha and aspire for birth, the Buddha immediately sends bodhisattvas to protect them. Whether those beings are walking, sitting, standing, or lying down, whether it is day or night, at all times and in all places. It says that evil spirits and evil deities are given no chance to obstruct these beings. We're told that through the power of the Buddha's vow, we can surpass ordinary bodhisattvas. Those ordinary bodhisattvas that are on that 33 eon path. We can surpass those. We can manifest those practices of all these bodhisattvas. Because when we surpass ordinary bodhisattvas and manifest those practices of all those different stages that they go through. It is said at that point that we swiftly realize enlightenment. By embracing the Buddha's vow, we swiftly realize enlightenment. Even if you're a raccoon. To close, please join me in Gassho for that reading from Shinran's collected works. Bodhisattva Maitreya must face 5,670,000,000 years before attaining Buddhahood. But the person who realizes true Shinjin will attain enlightenment with the end of this life. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Again, thank you for joining us today. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'd like to wish all of those mothers out there a happy Mother's Day. All those potential mothers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, even some of those out there that may not know they're going to be a mother. I'd like to wish you a happy Mother's Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Mark. You will now please rise for the Gatha Unhoku Song 2, which is found on page 153. And please remain standing as I welcome to the podium Reverend Koyama, who will recite the Daily Creed of Joshinshu found on page 8.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Reverend Tadao Koyama. I've had the privilege of meeting some of you already, and some in person and some through Zoom. But it's very nice to see you all. I am the minister of Tacoma Buddhist Temple. And if my name sounds a little familiar, you probably know my uncle, Reverend Dean Koyama. So I'm another Koyama. hope the Northwest is okay with that. Will you all please join me in reciting the Daily Creed of Jodo Shinju. Realizing enlightenment is assured and reciting the Nembutsu, I shall live my life cheerfully and positively. Understanding the oneness of life and cultivating self-reflection, I shall diligently attend to my life's tasks in gratitude. Recognizing the Dharma path, I shall help spread the teachings of the Buddha. Appreciating the Buddha Dharma, I shall respect and help others, working for the good of society. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you, Reverend Koyama. You may be seated. I just wanted to recognize guests today. If you're a guest, you don't have to introduce yourself. Just give us a wave and say hello and welcome to our service today. We hope that you will come back in the near future. At this time, actually, I'd like to introduce a special guest, which is Reverend Kusudoki from the Seattle Baptist Wing to give a couple of remarks.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Nice to see all of you in person today. So, happy Mother's Day. And probably people are watching from the Seattle Baptist. Hello. Hi. So this morning, I asked Seattle Baptist to set a screen in the Hondo, then joining White River service via Zoom or YouTube? YouTube. Okay. Yeah, YouTube. So, Northwest Ministers Association, after pandemic started, we are having Northwest joint like a Hanamatsuri service or on service. We schedule these services. Then, when we are talking about this year's schedule, then gradually people reopening, then gradually it is really difficult to schedule those virtual Northwest Ministers Association the virtual service. Then originally we scheduled May 21st. Northwest Ministers Association joint full-time service. Then we were asking Jim Warwick Sensei to deliver his Dharma message just before his retirement. So we are thinking to combine Northwest Joint Gold-Time Service and Warwick Sensei's retirement service. But when the temple started reopening, temple schedule is getting busy, ministers' schedules are getting busy, then I gave up. Then I decided, okay, I come to White River. Then to congratulate Jim Warwick Sensei's retirement. So then I also invited Tadao Sensei and Cindy Sensei, whoever can come, then probably Spokane Buddhist Temple also watching, I think. So then some other people may be watching from their home. So probably in the future, this is one way to connect. All the Northwest Temple can connect virtually. Then probably one day, White River also set a screen here, then project the screen, then maybe Jerry Hirano Sensei, maybe they bring the Dharma message from Utah, then we can all listen one Dharma message together. That's one possibility we are planning right now. So this Jim Warwick Sensei's retirement giving us more potential to spread the Buddha Dharma. Thank you. And I'd like to congratulate, Jim Warwick Sensei's retirement. I first met him, I don't know if he remembers, but 2014. I came to Seattle Baptist to do some ritual class. Then the hotel was near the North Gate, so Jim Sensei took me to the hotel. That was the first time I met him. So at that time, I never thought I was assigned to Seattle Baptist Buddhist Temple as a ringman. The next time I met him was 2017, January 2017. So when I came to Seattle Baptist to have an interview, I was so nervous. That's just, kind of getting a new job, new position. So that the interview, he was one of the interviewers. So he was sitting in the lounge, I was introduced, those Seattle Baptist members. Then Jim Sensei was sitting there. Then they asked me lots of questions, which I don't remember clearly. I was so nervous. Then, but I remember one question he gave me. He asked me. That was, this morning also we decided the three treasures. I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Among the three treasures, which is most important to you? That was his question. Well, he's giving me the really hard question. Then I was still thinking. Then he started, continue talking. To me, Sangha is the most important. Even the temple exists, the teaching is here. If no one is listening to the teaching, that's meaningless. So to me, Sangha is the most important. That was his answer, clear answer. So after he was assigned to White River Priest, even before he was assigned to White River Buddhist Temple, his ministry is really close to the Sangha. So I really appreciate his contribution and hard work to White River Buddhist Temple, Seattle Betsy, and entire Northwest District. So today, using this opportunity on behalf of Northwest Ministers Association, I'd like to express my deepest appreciation and respect and arigato to Jim Warwick Sensei. Thank you so much. Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you.
Thank you, Rinwan Kusunoki. You are welcome back any time as well. So, thanks for those kind words as well. I just want to make a couple announcements before we wrap this up. Is two things. Number one, May 22nd here at White River is our Family Memorial Service. It's going to be in memory of those who have passed on during the last 2 years, and so all the families of those who have lost members of their families during the pandemic are welcome to join us, and that's at 10:30 a.m. on the 22nd. As you may have seen in the email that went out last night or yesterday afternoon, we are selling flower bouquets for our Memorial Day fundraiser. Orders are due by May 21st, and pickup is on May 28th, and so you can find more information online on our website. Speaking of Reverend Jim, we are having a Reverend Jim and Rona Goodbye Picnic right here at the temple, where everyone is welcome to attend. It will be on June 5th at noon. The food is catered. Again, please do not bring any food. And you can register online at wrbT.org/goodbye-Jim. Or you can contact Shar to sign you up. And for Hello Seattle and Tacoma or Spokane, and whoever's watching this, you're welcome to join us as well. And then on June 11th is our burn sale. Donations are gladly accepted. You can already see the big pile of stuff in the room. And then final note is the Northwest District Convention is happening this year. It is hybrid, so it'll be online as well as in person, hosted by our friends at the Idaho Oregon Buddhist Temple. And more information is to come, but that is September 16th to the 18th. Okay. Are there any other announcements? Okay. Further reminder to the White River board members, we have a meeting directly after the service. All right, with all that being said, please come up to Oshoku if you have not already done so, and thank you again for attending today's service.